So recently, I just completed a workout program. It was a 116-page PDF where, for the first time in a long time, I started tracking very closely my weight and reps in the gym. And as you might expect, I achieved very good results by doing so. For the longest time, I would just come into the gym and just sort of try to remember what I did last time and get after it like that and just hit whatever exercises I felt like. And because I've been doing it for so long, I really did achieve a pretty great physique just by doing this. But lately, working out with this program and writing things down has made me realize just how much more progress I likely could have been making the whole time. So, what's happening, guys? In this video, I want to talk about why you guys need to start thinking long term and come up with a schedule that you can follow. I've talked before about how living in the moment is a scam. And this video, I'm going to be going over one of the reasons why that is, which is that you're really never going to be thinking long term living this way, or more than just like one or two steps ahead, which, if you play chess or any sort of other strategic game, you'll realize is a recipe for disaster. You need to write some things down and follow them to a T. So let's get into it. The reason that writing down your workouts gives you such an advantage is you get to see exactly what you did in the previous session, and it gives you the ability to try and beat that by just a little bit, which results in the progressive overload that you need in the gym. You can see on your workout sheet that last week on this workout, we did like 225 on the bench for 6 reps. And this time, you're heading back into it, you're fresh, right? And you're going to see if you can get 8. And you know that when you do, you're making tangible progress. You can't really lie about numbers, right? If you did 6 last time and you hit 8 this time, it's obvious that you're getting stronger, right? And this made me realize that there is a great power in writing things down. So what I just finished doing for myself a few moments ago was writing down what my schedule for the week in general is going to be looking like. I'm not necessarily talking about YouTube here. I'm talking about life, right? Because when you don't have a plan, you're sort of just flying blind, and you'll likely realize that anything you're already making good progress in right now, you've sort of been almost unintentionally already made a schedule for that. It's almost been internally planned out. You haven't necessarily written it down, but for example, you know that first thing in the morning you're hitting the gym, or after this class, or after, work, you're hitting the gym, right? What I'm trying to say here is that you need to take this to the next level, and you don't want to overcomplicate things, but just begin to zoom out of your week and construct a schedule that is going to work for you, that you can follow. And I'll just tell you like what I have going on in my own life, right? I work in the morning, early in the morning. I start at 6, usually, roughly, sometimes a little bit earlier. And usually right afterwards, I hit the gym. And this has been working great, honestly. It's very consistent, and I've been seeing a lot of great progress. But something I've been thinking about a lot lately is that there's probably more that you ultimately want out of life, right, than simply work in the gym and come home and watch content and go to sleep and repeat. And in my life, for example, I'm wanting to try and grow a business, aka right now that's this channel. And also I'm very interested in getting back to regular martial arts training. And like I've said, I've been waiting for a while for a certain amount of stability to enter my life again. I've been holding down this job for a while. It's been winter time. I get around everywhere on an e-bike right now, which sort of complicates things a little bit. So I've just been getting the preparations ready for when I've stabilized things enough and the warmer months begin to come around and it's beginning to get warm and I've gotten the stability down a bit. So now it's time to begin to make a bit more of a push and add some more things to my life, because as great as work and the gym are, it's just a sort of stagnant schedule after a while. And I truly think as great as the gym is, and I have a whole video coming out on this, sort of the new meta of like a successful, enjoyable life, it's not only to be in great shape, but it's also to have other skills and to be financially free and to have an interesting life altogether, right? If you're just shredded, but you have no money or anything else, it's not really going to yield you the best results. And it's not really even sustainable that much because things are going to start to get in the way of, your passion in the gym, other things like that, right? You need to have like this well-rounded life in order for things to not start to fall apart in one area and for that to affect the other areas, right? So I'm beginning to add some other things into the mix here imminently, which, like I said, is going to be the boxing training and working on this channel for you guys, right? But the thing is that this has been for so long such a purely like mental fantasy that now I'm really trying to make it happen, and I realize that I need to truly assess my schedule and write down when and what I'm doing, like when I'm working, when I'm going here, when I'm going there. So that's just what I finished doing, and I figured why not talk to you guys about that right now. I wrote out Sunday through Monday because that's when my schedule starts on Sunday. I wrote out when I was working and when I would be working out and when I would be working on the business, I like to call it, and when I would be heading to the martial arts training, right? Because you need a schedule. You need that rigor in your life to say, I know at X time I'm supposed to be doing X activity. And the reason for that is it needs to be apparent when you are slacking or when you're not doing what needs to be done. If you don't have anything written down or anything committed to, then you're never really breaking your oath to yourself because it's all just a bunch of random thoughts flying around in your head. But if you say, I'm doing this now at X time on this day of the week, it's going to become much more obvious when you're not following through, when you're not doing it. And then when you're sitting there, you're watching the random TikTok content, you'll know like, man, I said I would be doing this other thing right now, but I'm not. And you need that apparent contrast because if you have self-respect, it's going to bother you, and it should bother you. So I recommend taking this approach. If you have some things in your life that you're looking to add, like starting martial arts training, starting practicing this, starting rock climbing, starting going on road trips, whatever it is, right? Schedule your week and do the thing. Just like you schedule your workouts and you do the exercises and you do the bent over rows right after you do the lat pull downs on back day, right? You make your week the same way you write your workout, and you know that if you aren't doing the activity you said you would do at the time you said you would do it, just like if you don't do the Bulgarian split squats after the leg extensions, right? You know that you're pansying out, and so you get to feel the disappointment. Everything else is just very flighty and unreal. It's just a bunch of thoughts in your head, right? All you need to do is write down the times you're going to be working and the times where you're absolutely busy with that or whatever else, and then you just plug in the activity or activities that you've been fantasizing about adding in, and you do that. And, perhaps at a certain point, you won't need to be like checking the schedule all the time because it's just going to become like a habit. But I do think at the beginning, you're going to need to create this new schedule for yourself. The thing is, it's likely now that your free time is defaulting to going on the computer or going on your phone and sort of lazing about and consuming content or consuming videos of like naked girls. And, this is the time that you will need to be cutting out and replacing with things that are actually important to you, like things that your higher self, you would see that person doing, right? It may just get to a point where you really don't even have that much free time in general, but that's fine. That's probably where you want to be. You want to have a regimented life where you're waking up, you're doing the important things that move your life forward, and when it's all said and done, it's time to sleep because you need to get a decent amount of sleep to do it again the next day, right? You need to have a basic schedule that you are going to be able to adhere to. And of course, perhaps there's going to be like some deviations, and that's okay. You can plan some trips here and there, go out, do this thing. Once a week, this thing pops up. You attend this appointment, you go out with friends this night. That's fine. The idea is to change your default lifestyle. So here and there, there's an exception. There's probably not a big deal, right? That's probably great. But the idea is to schedule productive things as your default lifestyle. So maybe you go out with friends one night instead of doing this thing you had scheduled, but then you can check out your schedule again the next day and say, okay, I did that. That was fun. Back to the default schedule, because it's really not going to matter what you do one night here or there, but it's going to be, what is your lifestyle, right? Your lifestyle needs to change from sitting around being lazy, consuming content, to being this productive person doing things that are important to them, that's getting them further in their life. You'll say like, all right, I did that yesterday. I don't have to do the going out friends meeting today. So I'm heading back to the rock climbing facility again, like it says here in my schedule to do on whatever, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. That's the main advantage of doing this. It's to weed out the nonsense time and replace it with productive time. I consider time out with friends productive time. I consider going to get a haircut or socializing or doing something where you're getting out there and you're being like a member of society. I consider that productive time, as long as it's not a constant degenerate thing where every night you're drinking and wasting time with friends that, it's going nowhere and it's just you and the boys and you're not really getting any closer to any of your goals. You're not meeting any new people. Then that's just sort of nonsense. But here and there, you probably want to continue to be social, continue to get out there, continue to have fun, continue to meet new people. I think it's beneficial if we're really talking about self-improvement here. I think it almost gives you some sort of chemicals that make you feel like a human being, not just this person who's in like solitary confinement, right? So that's it, guys. Materialize a weekly schedule for yourself where you're thinking ahead a bit and you're really prioritizing things that are important to you. There will still be a time to watch my videos here and there, and there's still going to be a time to watch the other content that really matters to you, whether it's, on the way to going somewhere, or when you're at work, you got your earbuds in, or when you're out doing like a menial task or something, right? That's why I love this type of content, the content I'm making. You don't even really need to be watching the video. You can just be listening to me, right? I think this stuff is great. There's still going to be time for that, but write out that weekly schedule, and then you can catch these aspirations finally, these aspirations that are flying around in your head like birds, right? And you can catch this stuff that's flying around. You can pin it down. You can start to make these things a reality. You realize like, okay, every week I have this time where I'm sitting around doing nothing on this day. And you can take that time and you turn it into like this real thing. It's like Friday night, rock climbing, Thursday morning, jiu-jitsu, right? And so on. Friday morning, Saturday morning, working on this business, working on this skill, right? And it's great. And if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. This video is for people who are interested in improving their lives. If you just value your time sitting around watching videos the most, you're not really interested in doing anything else. You want to sit around, watch the videos rather than, doing other things. Nobody here is trying to take that away for you. It's simply to provide a framework for people who are interested in doing more. But the thing is, don't be upset when other people are beginning to gain benefits out of life that you're not getting. Don't be upset when other people are like learning skills, making friends, gaining this confidence, having experiences that you're not having because you voluntarily chose not to make that extra push. And you're going to be able to find all these reasons why you can't, right? If your schedule is all over the place, for example, with your job, you might not just need to get a different job, right? These schedules, right, where they're all over the place and every week is different. Today you're working 9 to 3, next week in the same day you're working midnight or something, right? I say just you need to prioritize where your life is going. This is what I'm talking about, like this long-term thinking. Like, these jobs are happy to allow you to revolve your life around working for them. So I say screw these jobs, man, unless they're paying you incredibly well and you have a long-term plan to like save up this much money, or unless it's something like nursing where maybe it's hectic for like 3 or 4 days out of the week and then you get a decent amount of time off where you can really put some other time in. I don't know. Like, there's no reason that you need this sort of job if you're the type of person that's interested in getting your life under control. I would say leave these nonsense jobs to people out there who are happy to just fly blind, take life a day at a time, happy to go nowhere, because there are plenty of those types of people, right? I say the first step would be to get a job that's going to give you a concrete schedule that you can rely on, and then go from there. And at the end of the day, you're going to have plenty of ways to not do this. Like I said, plenty of excuses. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But to the rest of you who feel like you're living in this whirlwind of aspirations, who feel like you want to do more, but you can't get there, you need to simply start with zooming out of your week. You make a schedule, make a plan, and you start getting good at some things. You change your default lifestyle, and then you can go from there. And you can start thinking even more long term, like, where is this going? Am I getting so good at this that I can start to monetize it somehow? Am I going to start to bring in like a camera to like watch me do this activity? Am I going to start to try to like create a course? But you can't do this when you're just a scrub at everything and you're just showing up to your job. You're just flying by the wayside, flying through life blind. First, start making that tangible schedule where you have the framework to start putting in work and getting proficient at things, and where each week is like a productive week. And once you kind of have that and you spend probably a few years at least living like that and actually starting to become somebody, that's when you can really start to think even more long term, right? That's it for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you think, right? Leave a like, subscribe, share your thoughts with me, all that good stuff. It helps to boost the video in the algorithm. And if you guys feel like you got something out of this and you want to help me, that's all you would need to do to kind of reciprocate and help me back. And hopefully the videos grow and I get more subscribers and I can continue to do this and continue to help other people out, right? And if you'd like, click the link in the bio and follow me on X. It's a whole nother platform over there with a bunch of crazy stuff going on, and that's a lot of fun, right? So talk to you guys next time. It was a pleasure. Bye-bye.